You right, Bench?
Sorry, I just read a comment that made me laugh a lot, which I want to shout out after this.
Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. All three cricket nerds for day three. We've gone 1, 2, 3 for days 1, 2, 3, and India have absolutely wiped the floor with the Australians. Beautiful thing to see. Outstanding performances from Ashwin, Jadeja, Axar Patel, Mohammad Shami. Just, beautiful things to see. So we're going to chat about it all. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We really appreciate the growth and support that we're getting on this channel. So first things first, lads.
Well, can I just say, before we go into it, I want to shout out Mohammad Siraj for his 1 off 19 to bring the score up to 400, because 400 looks better than 399. So just want to put that out there before we start. I think we need to shout Mohammad Siraj out for his. That's a big run. That is a big run.
Yeah, you know what? The unsung hero of this match, Siraj with 1 off 19.
Yeah.
Okay, well, going into slightly more impactful players, I want to kick things off by getting Zach's opinion on Axar Patel and his outstanding, is it 85? 84 runs. He faced 174 deliveries on a track that was pretty difficult to bat on. What did you think of Axar Patel?
I think he showed the Australians how to bat, really, in terms of his application. I think the thing that Indians do very well on Indian tracks is when it's hard to bat on, they take their opportunities against the bad balls really well. And that's what he did. He didn't feel pressured to score. And I think that's what we saw with the Australian batsman in the second innings, is he just didn't look pressured to score. He was taking his time. And when the ball was there for him to go after it, he went after it and did really well. And to have him coming in at 9, you mentioned this yesterday's podcast, having him coming in at 9, that's a massive boost to that Indian lineup. They bat very deep. And I think it was good for him because he showed his worth in what was quite a quiet game with the ball for him, given how well Jadeja and Ashwin bowled. So, yeah, his knock was perfectly done in order to get them up to a very good score, and obviously a match-winning score as well, because I don't think it was a 400-run pitch.
It certainly wasn't. And
no,
like you said, I think it says a lot about the depth of Indian talent when Axar Patel is your third best spinning all-rounder.
Yeah.
in your playing 11. That's unreal.
I don't know about that, because this is just one thing I want to quickly talk about is Axar, because I think he brings a different thing to Ashwin. Let's be honest, right? Ashwin batted number 3 because he was night watchman. That's why he went in at number 3. I think really, if you looked at that card, you'd have carded, I would say, in my view, Ashwin at 9, Axar at 8, Barrett at 7, and Jadeja at 6. That would be my way of having that if I was carding it, because for me, I think that Axar and Ashwin bring slightly different things. I think Ashwin's more on the bowling all-rounder side, and I think Axar's more on the batting all-rounder side. That's just my view on it. Jadeja is out and out in both. Your face, James, looks like you disagree with me.
I do, but carry on.
I don't know. I just think he's more consistent. Like Ashwin, every now and again, will come out and do a really good knock and will score a century, a match-winning century. But if you wanted a number 8 and a number 9, I'd go Axar, Ashwin. I mean, let us know in the comments. Am I wrong? How should we do it? Hashtag Ashwin or hashtag Axar? Put that in the chat.
Well, in Test match cricket,
in the comments.
In Test match cricket, Ravi Ashwin averages 27 with the bat over a lot of Test matches. Axar Patel in a few less Test matches also averages 27, but Axar overall averages more in first-class cricket. However, I think Ashwin, Test cricket is obviously a harder format than first-class cricket, but I think Axar Patel is very handy in Indian conditions with the bat. We've seen him play really good match-winning innings in the IPL as well. So he's definitely a good batsman. Whether he bats ahead of Ashwin, that's an interesting argument, given how good Ashwin's been with the bat for India. So yeah, an interesting option.
That's
I was
just
going
me.
to say the main thing I disagree with you on is you suggesting that Axar Patel is a batting all-rounder. That's not true. They're both bowling all-rounders.
Well, yeah, they're both bowling all-rounders, but I think Akshar's more on the batting side. Like his batting's, but like I'd say out of the both of them, right? Ashwin's a better bowler, Akshar's a better batter.
Let's talk about the best all-rounder in that Indian side, though, which is obviously Super Mohammad Shami with his Bazball-like knock of let me get it up. Just lost it. Of 37 of 47 with 3 6s and 2 4s. I love it when Shami swings the bat and it isn't against England. As far as like, participants in a tail wagging situation, Mohammad Shami always seems to be at the center of it. He's somebody that you think we should get him out very quickly here. And then inevitably he just swings from the hip and he connects. And 37 is very useful. Ultimately, like India didn't need it because they just, the bowling was so good and Australia's batting was so inadequate. But I really liked seeing Shami swing from the hip and then also take really impactful wickets. Once again, I said it yesterday. I'm saying it again today. My biggest man of the match is the groundsman for just slightly balancing the stumps in the ground so that they can cartwheel. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, we're all a big fan of that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think with people like Mohammad Shami and Mohammad Siraj, to be fair to him, and other Indian fast bowlers, it's not easy being an Indian seamer. And I think the fact is that the rise of 2020 cricket and one-day cricket, I guess, has enabled there to be a bigger role for the seamers in India. Because if you go back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, why would you be an Indian seamer? Because if you're playing at home, you're going to bowl 5 overs in innings. So as an Indian seamer, you want to work on your batting because that's the other way you're going to get involved in the game. I guess it's different now with 2020 cricket because you're going to bowl your full allotment. But yeah,
the thing with both of them is they did their job. They were the new ball bowlers, go in there for 4 or 5 overs, take the shine off it, just get it to a point where you can then hand it over to Jadeja, you can hand it over to Ashwin, you can hand it over to Axar to take all the wickets. Because again, with the ground that was prepared, they're the wicket-taking bowlers. What we see in T20 and the IPL is they tend to prepare harder pitches because T20 is a batter's game. They want to see lots of runs. But last year, if we think about the IPL last year, the seamers were really up there with doing really well. Like you think of Umesh Yadav last year in the IPL for KKR, he was incredible. You can think of we can probably name 5 or 6 different people that were really good. Jofra Archer got player of the tournament a few years ago. So I think your seamers, depending on the pitches that India create, and as you say, I totally agree. The rise of T20, I think, has led to that Indian fast bowler being generated. And they're doing this without Bumrah, who's the talisman fast bowler of India as well. Like actually, if Bumrah was on this pitch, we could have seen an absolute slaughtering with Australia. Just what they just getting them smashed to pieces. What I do want to pick up with Australia though is I think they're a bit lost. Just looking at them and the way that they were batting today, the only person that seemed to know what was going on was Steve Smith. Until he was bowled by Jadeja off a no ball, which was entertaining to say the least. But the only person who seemed to know what was going on was Steve Smith. And he's there as the established player. Alex Carey got a start. Marnus Labuschagne got a start, but everyone else looked a bit lackluster. And I think Matt Renshaw and Peter Hanscom, I think it's been great that they've made their debut in this match, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see 3, 4, 5 changes from Australia for the next test. I think one of the things that they've really missed has been that Cameron Green's impact, not being able to bowl, I think has massively hampered them, because with the option of Cameron Green, they can do a similar setup to India, in the sense that they take 2 frontline seamers in Green and Cummins, and then it allows them to pick an extra spin option. It allows them to either pick the wrist spin option, or they can take the left arm orthodox option and just get the ball turning the other way. Whereas I thought that Todd Murphy and Lyon did really well, and I think Murphy, we need to talk about his 7-for in the first innings, because that was class. Like, he took 7 wickets on debut. That's really good. But I think having that extra difference might really help Australia when they come into their next one. Let us know what you think about that, though.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon that Australia, as you pretty much said, they're missing a few big names, like Cameron Green and Peter Handscomb. He's played Test cricket before. Matt Renshaw's played a couple games, but it's that they are missing a few people, especially with Cameron Green out. He's a good player of spin, and also Travis Head. Like you mentioned it at the start, James, when you did your solo podcast about where is Travis Head? They've gone horses for courses, but Travis Head, he kind of soaks up that momentum and then puts it back on the opposition by playing in that naturally attacking style. So yeah, definitely missing some big people there.
And Travis Head can also bowl a bit of handy off spin. Like he is quite underrated in that respect. But he isn't a bad spinner by any like means. He genuinely, I think he averages 30. So he would have been a really useful third spinning option. Well, yeah, because Labuschagne was not very good. And I think who else bowled? Like Matt Renshaw might have bowled 1 over or something. But the vast bulk of the bowling was Nathan Lyon and Todd Murphy, who bowled close to 50 overs each. So you do need another bowler in there. Yeah, I just think that's important. So the main star of the show today was Ravi Ashwin, who at the ripe old age of, was he 35, 36 now?
120.
120. He is still, in my opinion, the best spinner in the world. He's 36 and a half. And he took 5-for, and they were all big wickets. You know, he took the opening pair. He took Renshaw, Hanscom, and Carey. And I think all of them, apart from the first one, was LBW as well, which shows that he's got that ability. He's got the ability to do that Karen ball, flicking it out. And then he's bowling his good off spin. And he was getting it to skid through a bit as well. But I noticed that a lot of his wickets were coming because he was going around the wicket. And because it was turning so much and staying low, that meant that LBW was a brilliant option. Like, it was always in the game. And then every now and then it would go across the right-handed batter and cause them horrible issues. So I just think absolute credit needs to go to Ashwin for this match. He was absolutely brilliant. Obviously played second fiddle to Jadeja, who I hope got man of the match. I didn't actually check. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But Ashwin, absolutely outstanding.
Yeah,
he's he reminds me a bit of Shane Warne, in that Shane Warne kind of got that psychological advantage over the batsman as well, and Ashwin's definitely got that. Like, he's just no mercy whatsoever. He doesn't let the batsman have an inch. Like, he's just always on top, and I would feel as intimidated facing Ashwin as I would facing a really fast bowler.
Mitchell Stark.
Yeah, probably like Mitchell Stark, because he's got that edge. It's like he's got this air about him, which is like, I'm on top right now. You can't do anything about it.
A bit arrogant, but like confident arrogant.
Yeah.
The best combination.
I think just before we move on to CNQs, which, you know, we've got a few of them now. An interesting thing to note was, with the exception of Peter Hanscom, all of the wickets today that Ashwin got were left-handers. So because he was coming around the wicket, he just was bowling it straight, and it was just straightening up and taking the LBW. And yeah, it was just some absolute wizardry today. And then allowing Shami to come in and sweep the tail up. But yeah, I mean, I think India played pretty much a flawless game today. CNQs.
Yeah, CNQ's time. So the first CNQ we've got is from Lenin Jagadish, who has said something along the lines of, why do you think the Australian media are always complaining about India making spinning tracks in home tests? Australia never make flat pitches in the Gabba and Adelaide for Indians to bat. Now, I'm going to kick off. I'm going to answer this one. I'm going to say I would, on behalf of all media, would reserve the right to complain about your home team losing and having to blame it on everything else other than the ability to play those conditions. Okay, that is their right. English media have the right to complain about foreign conditions. Indian media have the right to complain about foreign conditions. It is what salt of the earth journalists need to do to appease the disappointed fans of that country. And I'm going to say you just got to let it slide and you got to laugh at it, because at the end of the day, you won and they weren't good enough. But you got to let them console themselves by saying it wasn't our fault. They made the pitches bad. No, it was just a decent pitch, and well.
I do think as well, like if you come to England and they prepare a green seamer, then you can go to any country and they'll prepare a bit of a green seamer. Like I'm sure they can do something about getting grass in Indian cricket. I mean, they've got the money to do it. But I think with England, it's the country, isn't it? Like you can't say sorry for it being a cloudy day. There's not much you can do about that. Yeah. So when you come to England, that's kind of the situation. Whereas if you go to India, it's in the same way. India's like, we prepare spinning tracks. If you want to tour here, that's what you're going to get. We're not going to be sorry for you getting skittled by Axar Patel, who gets 10 wickets in a match.
You get exactly the same when you travel to Sri Lanka and you play at Colombo. You get the same when you travel to Pakistan. And, well, no, apart from the Ripaldi pitch, which was the M25 because it was baked that hard. But, yeah, with Australia at the Gabba, they play bouncing pitches because that's what suits their bowling. They're fast seamers. So I think it's just a part of the game, isn't it? You need to adapt to play overseas. Anything else?
No, we're going to move on to our next CNQ, which is from which is from, I don't know how you say this because it's got no vowels. Something maybe like Shubman or Shubham, something like that. A legend anyway. And he has said, do you think that any kind of format can become a little bit or somewhat more popular in a country like the Republic of Ireland, considering their rise in cricket in the last decade? Or does cricket face too much politics to overcome that? So can any format grow in a different country, I think is what he's saying. I'm going to kick things off and say, yes, there's no reason why not. It's a beautiful game. And I think every format starts at grassroots. All the interest in sports starts at grassroots and amateur playing. You right, Benj?
Sorry, I just read a comment that made me laugh a lot. Which I want to shout out after this.
All right. But yeah, so every sport is based at its grassroots. So T20, the fact that people can play it over here like in an evening means that it is also popular at the highest levels. And I think for that reason, if people want to spend the whole Saturday playing cricket at an amateur level, people are going to be interested in watching people bat for a long time external to that. And I don't think any reason of politics is going to overcome that. So yeah.
Sorry,
what's the good comment there?
I just want to shout out this might be a good point to end on, but I just want to shout out Karanpreet Singh 7199 in the comments. Rohit is a class player. This 120 is a daddy 100, it said in the comments. But then he gets called out by Arvart 298 who says daddy 100 is at least 150. 120 is an uncle 100.
Uncle.
So Uncle 100 from Rowett.
Yeah, that's a good Uncle 100.
That is brilliant.
But then in the context of the game, it makes it a daddy 100 because
Yeah.
no one from Australia scored a 50. So that's what made me laugh.
No, I do like an Uncle 100. Right.
We've got
Yeah.
some C&Qs asking about some of our opinions. So there's one from Korsta Pandey who said, what do you enjoy more, pace or spin
Pace.
to watch?
Pace.
I think good spin is actually more entertaining for me, even though I usually bowl seam. I think, yeah. But then again, really spicy pace is the best thing in cricket.
Raw pace or hooping in swingers?
It
Zach,
depends.
what's yours?
For me, it depends on the spinner. Like if
Mm.
it's someone like Shane Warne bowling, or even when Graham Swan was bowling, of watching him bowl. But yeah, pace overall, I think, is more fun to watch. And the next one from Cricket X Vine says, your fave format, Test, ODI, or T20? For me, it's got to be Test matches.
Test
Test.
match.
Yeah.
There,
It's test.
I have a place in my heart for all others. I love the 100. I love everything, but test match,
Yeah.
that's the one.
And then the biggest one that we're seeing quite a lot is, I'll just use Ramav 87. He's an example of one of these people who's saying, are we thinking Sky and KL out for Shreyas and Sarfaraz? Or just
Sarfaraz is in the squad.
I know, but bringing in Shreyas into that middle order, or Shubman Gill into that middle order, or opening with Shubman Gill, KL in the middle order is the big conversation at the moment.
Yeah. No, I think all of those, and anything to get Sarfaraz Khan in, I'm all for. Do it.
Yeah.
Right, another sitting cue. Do you think Australia is a bowler short here in this game, especially a spinner? Because Boland is there, and although he bowled brilliantly, he didn't get as many overs as he should have got. Yes. Yeah, they're a spinner short. I think that's a pretty universal opinion.
Yeah.
Any more?
No. But just on that last one, I think it's important to understand what we said in our preview to this series is that at the end of the day, India have more experienced spinners, and they're better at playing on spinning wickets. So it doesn't matter really for me what changes Australia make. They're going to have to play a really good test match to win, I think, in this series. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting to see what goes on. But I think that's all we've got time for. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check the link trees in the description for all our social media. Like, subscribe, all those things that help us out. We really appreciate your support. And we'll
If
see
you subscribe and like the video, you'll score a daddy 100 next year. And
An
if you
Uncle
just
100.
subscribe, you'll get an Uncle 100.
Yeah, so like for those daddy hundreds. See you later.